So today we are going to talk about the essential Java full stack developer skills in 2024. So if you break down this particular topic, you will find four important parts. One is Java. The second one is full stack developer. The third one is skill. And the fourth is in 2024. So what exactly the change in 2024 we'll talk about. So I want to make this particular session more interactive. So I would like to know you all from everyone, like how many of you know about Java? What is Java? And how much you all are comfortable with this particular programming language? Okay. So
It's a always in demand language basically, and also it is one of the widely used programming language, which makes the better opportunity and the speaker sorry, not the speaker, opportunities for the freshers also to build their careers, as in the one who is actually skilled in Java can
uh,
build a better career into the tech field actually.
okay.
And it is I would say one of the easiest language to learn if somebody wants to learn and build their careers into programming.
So because it is very popular, everyone wants to make their career in the Java programming language. Okay. Okay, no problem. So in today's session, we are talk about Java. We will also talk about the application development in Java, like how you can develop your application in Java. We will also talk about how a Java programming language interact with the front end, and always also how the Java programming language interact with the backend backend. I'll explain you all these terms later on in the session. We will also talk about the tools which are used in application development. We will also talk about the popular frameworks for application development. And we will also talk about the skills which are actually required in a different stages of application development. And at the end, we will also talk about the integration of a Java with Gen AI. So these days, everyone is talking about Gen AI, generative AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. So Java is also provide you some frameworks which helps you to develop your applications with around Gen AI. So we'll also talk about that topic as well. So these are the main characteristics of Java, like why Java is so popular and why it is widely used. As he mentioned, that Java is widely used and everyone, it's very easy because it's very versatile. You can easily adopt because it is an object-oriented programming language. And the best part is it's follow the right ones and run anywhere principle. Means it's a platform independent. That means if you develop any application with Java, you can actually deploy that application on any platform. You can run it on your Windows machine, your Linux machine, your Mac machine, anywhere, right? The best part of the Java is also provide you, it's a multi-threaded. So multi-threaded means it's support concurrent programming, so you can run multiple things simultaneously. It has memory management. It has one of the best memory management because of the garbage collection, and because the Java application runs in the sandbox, it also prevents you the miscellaneous activities on. So it's highly secure. And the Java programming also provides you pre-built functionalities. So you can achieve various tasks. So you don't need to focus on your how to do the coding part, basically. You can easily focus on your business logic, and you can use the pre-built functionality, which will help you to achieve your desired task, right? And at the end, it has a very big community support. So because Java has a large and active community contributing to its growth. So just keep on growing, right? So currently we are using Java 21. Java 21 is in the market. It's the latest version, right? So we'll move forward. We'll talk about application development. So if you talk about the application development, anyone is aware of, like in Java, what kind of application that you can develop?
To the widely available their libraries.
Widely, sorry. just missed.
Widely available their libraries.
And libraries are the one other part. It's a pre-built functions that are provided by Java. It's fine. But what kind of applications that you can develop?
Mobile applications and web applications.
Right. So you can develop enterprises application. You can develop desktop application. You're right. Mobile applications. You can also develop the embedded technologies. You can work on circuits as well. Right. So anyone of you know what is enterprises application?
E-commerce application.
Your CRM.
CRM tools, yes.
Then
So
ERP.
the right, okay. So enterprises applications for enterprises software, basically those applications is in large scale software systems, which is designed to meet the complex needs of an organization. So where the things like scalability, integration, security, and the other parts comes in, which are very complex in nature. You can develop those applications very smartly, very easily in Java programming language. You can also develop the desktop application using the frameworks like Java FX and Swing. Right? You can develop mobile applications. You can develop web applications, right? Which runs on browsers, right? So many kind of applications that you can work on. And if you want to develop any applications, you first of all, you have to discover, you have to planning, then you have to design, then development, then testing, then maintenance. These are the basic roadmap of any web application, right? So we'll talk about one by one. And in that topic, we actually wants to be a full stack Java developer, right? What is full stack Java developer? What do you mean by full stack?
Basically, the end-to-end development of software which includes front end and the back end as well.
Front end and the back end as well. So end-to-end application development. So that means full stack, right? So if you talk about any application, it has a basic architecture. If you talk about basic two-tier architecture, it has a front-end technologies. Then it has middle layer, the service layer, and the backend. Backend means a database, right? So, so in application, normally we do the basic CRUD operation, right? Create, read, update, and delete. We'll store the information in our database, then we'll process it and present it to the UI and other layers as per the required desired output. So the thing is, if you want to develop the application to end, you must know what is front end and how Java will help you to interact with the front end technologies, and how Java will also interact with the backend technology. So we'll talk about one by one. First of all, we'll talk about how Java interact with the front end technologies. First of all, these are the basic. These Java typically interact with the front end through the combinations of the technologies and approaches. And these are few. They are the common methods. The first one is servlet and JSPs, right? So initially, Java has a concept of Java-based web application, often use servlets to handle the backend logic. You see, I'm talking about the servlet. And if I talk about JSPs allowed you to embedding the Java code within the HTML for the dynamic content generations. So on UI, you can help the servlet as well as the JSPs, right? The second one is RESTful APIs. Java can expose the RESTful APIs using the frameworks like JXRS, or you can say Spring, right? And the front-end technologies like React or Angular, you can easily consume these APIs, right? So developing the REST APIs is one of the use case, one of the method. The third one is Java Server Faces, JSF. JSF is a part of a Java framework. It's used for Java web application framework. That simplify building a user interface. If you really want to develop an interactive user interface, you can use JSF. JSF applications can be integrated with the front-end technologies to create a dynamic and interactive web pages, right? Then we also have the concept of WebSocket. It's a general concept, but Java can communicate in the real time with the front end using Java sockets. WebSocket it also supports. This is very useful for application requiring instant updates, or you can say two-way communication. So you can use WebSockets. Then Ajax, basically asynchronous JavaScript, for example. Ajax it's a JavaScript. Java backend services can respond to the JavaFX through JavaScript requests. So you can also very easily interact or communicate with REST APIs using Ajax. So again, it is very similar to the REST APIs, consuming the REST API. So you can consume your REST APIs using JavaScripts, basically, right? Then we also have a concept of JavaFX and Swing, desktop applications. So desktop applications, Java can use to build the graphical user interface using JavaFX and Swing, right? It's a framework which is allow you to interact with the users directly. You can develop the entire forms, button, labels, and the other things. So you can develop the interactive UI, which can easily help you to interact with the users and collect the data from the users, right? So these are the basic common methods, basically, which Java supports and helps you to interact with the front-end technologies, right? So again, the choice of interaction method depends on the application architecture and the requirement, right? So again, it depends on like on which technologies which stack you're working on. Is Angular or React or a plain JavaScript, right? On the similar line, Java is also support the backend interaction. So if you talk about the backend interaction, servlet and JSPs again. So servlets handle the HTTP request and generate the dynamic content, as you all know. So I'm talking about the backend. And JSPs are also embedding the Java code within the HTML for the server-side processing. So again, JSF is also helpful in the backend, right? Again, JSF component also help you to interact with the Java backend logic. You can develop your attractive UI as well as you can also interact with the Java backend logic. We also have some Spring frameworks. Spring frameworks provides you the set of modules for building a Java-based enterprises application. Where we do have a Java Spring MVC handles the web request and interactive backend services, right? And then again, RESTful APIs, which you can easily develop in Java, yes, using the Spring REST, JAX-RS. Spark is also one of the framework which allows you to develop REST APIs, right? So basically, these APIs allow you to communicate with the other backend services or front-end applications. So you can easily communicate within the service to service or service to front-end, right? You can also develop SOAP web services. So Java can also implement the SOAP-based web services using technologies like Java JAX-WS, right? It's actually service enables you to communicate it between the different systems over the network, right? The database integration, basically. So for the database integration, Java interact with the database using the JDBC. It's a very common Java database connectivity, JDBC, which allows you to interact with the database, right? There are also some ORM tools, ORM frameworks like Hibernate is also there, which help you to simplify your database operations, right? There are the techniques called messaging queue. So Java application can communicate asynchronously through messages queue. So the technologies like Java message services facilitate you to messaging between the different components, right? You can also develop microservices architecture. It's commonly used for building the microservices in a distributed architecture, right? So Java also allowed you to communicate it between microservices, often involved RESTful APIs, messages, queues, or so you can communicate it between the. It's a communication mechanism, so you can interact with different APIs and from your to your front end, right? Socket programming is also supported by Java. So Java supports socket programming for the low-level network communications, right? So sockets can be used for establish the connection and exchange data between the backend services. So you can use socket programming also there. Enterprises integration pattern. What is enterprises integration pattern? So Java application can implement enterprises integration pattern, which is called EIP, using the frameworks like Apache Camel for seamless integration with the other system that you can easily do, right? It has a framework, it has a security framework, which security frameworks like a Spring Security to handle the authorization and authentication. So in any web application or in any application, the authorization and authentications are the two main important factors, right? Through which you can handle multiple users. Any one of you can tell me what is authorization and authentication? What is the difference between authorization and authentication? No one? So in application, whenever you log in and systems actually validate that you, with the help of your credentials, it is basically authentication. And authorization means, like in application, we do have a multiple modules, right? So as a user, you have access to which module is basically the authorization. It actually it will check whether you do have an access to that particular module or not. Then only system will allow you to access that particular piece of feature, basically the module, right, in the application. So that is authorization, right? So many things, right? So Javas allow you to develop the use cases around and provide you so much of libraries and pre-built features and libraries through which you can develop a very interactive and useful application for yourself or for anyone. So any questions so far till the interaction with the front end and back end part? So in application development, we have to use tools, right? So what are tools which used in application development? Like if you're developing any application in Java, what all tools are required? So okay. The one is the very first thing which you need is integrated development environment, IDEs. Do any one of you know any IDE? Okay, so anyone, sorry,
Eclipse.
Eclipse, yes. So Eclipse is one of the widely used open source IDE, and it's very rich in set of features and plugins, right? Apart from Eclipse, we do have NetBeans is also there. It is also one of
Visual
the open
Studio.
source. Visual
Visual
Studio is also there, right? IntelliJ IDEA is also there. It's a very popular commercial IDE, right? And it also provides you the intelligent code assistant and productivity features, a lot of productivity features. So in commercial, we normally prefer to use IntelliJ IDEA. So, right. So the very first thing which you need is integrated development environment IDEs on your machine to develop any application more effectively. Now, the second thing which is required here is build tools. So if you want to develop any application, you must know about build tools. So the tools which is like Apache Maven and Gradle. Anyone of you know about what is Apache Maven and Gradle? Okay, I'll tell you. See, Apache in application, we have to deal with the dependencies. So Apache Maven is widely used to build or automation and project management tools to simplify the build process. So whenever you want to do the build part, means your deployment part of your application, or to handle the dependencies of your jar files, what all jars you are required to develop a different features in your application, you need Apache Maven. See, Gradle is also one of the option, which is very flexible build tool that combines with the best features of Apache Ent and Apache Maven. So it's a very flexible one. The Gradle is also there in the market, and it's a flexible one which has the best features of Apache Ent. Ent is also it's one of the scripting tool which helps you to do the build process. Right. The third one is version control. Version control. What is version control? Anyone of you have any idea? Okay, so in the life cycle of your project, you have to keep on adding the features, right? You have to keep on giving different releases. So version control is actually very required. So there are the tools called Git. Git is a distributed version control system which is widely used for source code management, right? And we also have earlier we used to SVN. It's Apache Subversions. It's a centralized version control systems for tracking the changes in the file and directory. So whenever in version control, you normally do the check in and check out, right? So you check out the source code, make some modification, and then you will resubmit the code to the branch. So version control is again you must know about, and you should be very familiar with the technologies like Git and SVN, right, which will help you in application development. Then dependency management. So dependency management, as I already told you earlier, like Apache Maven is one of the tool, Gradle is one of the tool which helps you to manage. It's a function as a powerful dependency management tool, Apache Maven. So it can easily handle the multiple dependencies of your jar files, right? Now, testing frameworks are really very important. So whenever you develop any application, you should test. So as a developer, you should know about the frameworks like JUnit or TestNG. So JUnit is, you can say it's a widely used test frameworks for unit testing in Java. Okay. And TestNG, it's a testing framework inspired by JUnit, but designed for more flexibility. So there are multiple test frameworks are available, but widely we use JUnit. So you should know JUnits if you really want to work as a developer in Java on Java technologies. That will really helps, right? Now, if you want to do the continuous integration and continuous development, normally we are calling it as CI/CD pipelines. So there are the frameworks like Jenkins frameworks. It's an open source automation servers for building the testing and deploying code. And there are a few tools like Travis CI. It's a cloud-based CI/CD services that interact with the GitHub repositories, right? So you should know about CI/CD as well, right? Again, then next is containerization and orchestration. Orchestration. Okay, so we do have a concept. We do have a tools like Docker and Kubernetes. Do you have any ideas what is Docker and what is Kubernetes? Okay, so Docker is basically enable the creation of the deployment of lightweight portable containers. So when you actually trying to deploy your web application, you need when you deploy, Docker will help you to create a containers and will help you to deploy those applications within that particular environment, within those containers, right? So it gives you the virtual environment to run your application. Kubernetes is also one of the open source container platform for automating deployment, scaling, and containerization applications. So when we talk about the scalability, then when there's and there are things, the Kubernetes will come into the picture. Then you should have an idea about what all these things, these frameworks. Then Java allows you to develop the application, but in Java, we do have some web frameworks which are available. The frameworks like Spring Framework and Apache Struts. So, which allows you to develop the web application very easily. So, it's a comprehensive frameworks providing support for various aspects of Java development. So mainly, it's very helpful in web application development. A framework for Struts framework is very specific to your web application, right? So these are the web frameworks which is widely used. Now in application and on if we talk about the backend part, so there are few frameworks like if we talk about some database tools, there are a few frameworks like Hibernate and MyBetis. So it's a ORM frameworks basically that simplify the database interaction in Java application. So you don't need to do much code. They will provide you the pre-built functionalities and helps you to interact with your backend. And if when you are dealing with the data mapping frameworks for relational database, we normally use MyBetis framework, right? Now in application, logging is very important, right? So because if something went wrong, how you will know as a developer that what went wrong in your application? So there are the frameworks like SL4J or Logback, right? So these are the logging frameworks which help you to manage all your logs for your application. Then if you're writing code, then your code quality, if you must have to focus on your code quality, right? So there are the frameworks like SonarQube. It's an open source platform for continuous inspection of your code quality, right? If you want to see the check styles, basically, check styles is one of the frameworks, a tool for checking the Java code against coding standards, right? These are the free one, but again, there are the few which are very commercial, like 45. We are using as an enterprise for checking our code quality and coding standards, right? So those were really very helpful in to maintaining our code and for delivery perspective. So these are the main tools which you really must know if you want to work as a Java developer. So any questions so far again around the tools part, or everyone is comfortable with what all tools about these tools? So I'm just trying to cover all the tools which normally we are using it as an application for the application development. No questions? Can we move further? Okay, let's move to the next slide then. See, these are the list of Java frameworks, so popular Java frameworks for application development. So many frameworks. So I try to cover most widely used. Spring is one of the very popular one. So in Spring frameworks, Spring Boot, Spring MVC, and Spring Data. So Spring Boot simplified the development of production-ready applications with conversions over the configuration approach, right? It's where smartly you can develop your applications, REST APIs, REST endpoints, or the backend part with the help of a Spring Boot. MVC framework for building web application using the model view controller pattern, MVC pattern. Anyone is aware of what is MVC pattern? So in Java, we do have a multiple frameworks. MVC is one of it, and Spring MVCs allow you to develop the applications using Spring MVC. Spring MVCs allow you to develop the applications around model view controller pattern, right? So when you are actually dealing with Spring Data, so it simplifies the data access with the support for various data stores. So you can easily handle and you can easily interact with your database, any kind of a database, right? Which you are using it in your application development. Okay, we are on skills. We are actually talking about the popular frameworks. Spring. Okay, Hibernate's it's an object or ORM tool, basically ORM frameworks that simplify the database interaction by mapping the Java objects to the database table. So you can easily talk to your tables, talk to your database using Java. So Hibernate allows you to do that. Apache struts still exist. So many companies are still using Apache struts. It's a web application framework which is used for developing Java EE web application, enterprises web application. Again, it also supports the model view design pattern only. Okay. If you want to deal with a reactive web application, so Play framework is one of the framework which allows you to develop the reactive web application with a focus on the developer productivity and the modern web and development practices. So Play framework is also there. JFS, Java Server Faces. It's a Java web application framework that simplify building the user interfaces using reusable UI components. So it provides you the reusable UI components, which helps you to develop the rich UI. So these are the so many frameworks. So you can go and check more on. So when you deal with the enterprises integration patterns, EIPs, you have to work on. You can use Apache Camel. If you are dealing with Kubernetes native Java frameworks for building the lightweight, fast, and efficient microservices, you can use Quarkus. Right. So again, there are a lot of frameworks, popular frameworks, which are available, which you can easily, which will help you to achieve for different kind of use cases. Right. So you must know about these frameworks, so you can easily use in your real time problems scenarios. Handle with. Okay. Shall we move forward? Next slide. Okay. So here, one which is related to skill required on different stages of application development. So we already talked about the frameworks, the how Java will interact with the front end and the back end part. So now, but in different stages of application development, what all skills which you are required? We'll talk about these. So the one. So Java application development involves various stages, like each require a specific skill, correct? So here are the few skills, here are the few skills relevant to the different stages. So the very first stage in application development comes as an analysis and planning. So whenever you deal with the requirement analysis, you should know the understand and translating the client requirement into the technical specification, basically a low-level design and high-level design. So requirement analysis is one of the very first important part. So project management, skills in planning, scheduling, and managing the resources for successful project deliveries. So again, it's not 100% technical, but and I'm talking about the skills which are required in different stages. So analysis and planning is also one of the very important part. So nothing to do with Java, but yes, as an application development, you should know, you should have a skill. Somebody is in your team which is good in planning, scheduling, and managing resources, right? And who can use BA, basically business analysis, BAs are there in the companies which actually understand and translating the requirement into the technical specification. They are directly dealing with the clients. Now, as an architect, you should design about the problem statement. So if you're talking about design part, the things which comes as an object-oriented design, which is normally called as OOD. So designing the classes, interfaces, the relationship between the modules in the application structure, that is very important. You should know about UML, Unified Modeling Language. So using the UML diagrams, you can visualize and communicate between the system architecture, right? You should know, I can say, design patterns, which applying a common design patterns to efficient and maintainable code, right? So coding is also very important, isn't it? The coding is also one of the stage in application development. So Java programming. So Java programming language, including the knowledge of the core concept, their syntaxes, and their libraries, you should know. You should know about the frameworks, their dependencies on the project, skills in using frameworks such as you can say Spring, Hibernate, Struts, and so many we already talked about. You should know about the version control. Version control is very important because working knowledge of version control system like Git, which is very helpful to collaborative development, right? You should know about the coding standards, adhering the coding standards for consistency and maintainability, right? Coding, right? Now in application development, testing is also very important. Once you're done with the coding, as a developer, you should know about the unit testing, integration testing, automated testing. So you should follow the test-driven development approach, which is called as TDD. All right, developing code interactive with the focus on creating test first, code next. It's a kind of a methodology they are using it in agile, right? So you should go with the test-driven approach. Now, if you're done with the testing, we're done with the coding part, then the build and deployment is one of the important. So you should know about the build tools, which we talked about, right? The Gradle and the Maven, right? For continuous integration and continuous development, CI/CD. So you should know the frameworks which we talked about, right? Containerization, we talked about Dockers. You should know about Dockers. What are Dockers? What is Kubernetes and how they help you to end up in web application development, right? So as a full stack developer, you should also know about the database management, right? So database design, the main. So as a developer, you should design and optimize the database schemas, right? So different tables and the relationships and all. You should aware of the basic SQL. So you can write the SQL queries and manipulating and retrieval things from the database. If you know the ORM tools like Hibernate, it's really very helpful, right? So any questions so far? Till build and development, database management. Okay. So in application, security is also very important. So when you deal with the secure coding practices, you should know about it. You should aware of what is authorization and authentication. So implementing the secure user of authentication authorization mechanism, you can use Spring security frameworks, right? You also have to deal with the SSL and TLS, right? Understanding the secure communication over the network. Because in web application, you're dealing with the network, so you should aware of what is SSL, what is TLS, right? Performance optimization, it's very important. It contains like profiling and tuning. So in application, we do have a multiple environments. So how you deal with the profiling, right? Caching strategies. Caching strategies are also very important while application development. Load testing, right? So conducting load testing to ensure the application can handle the expected load, right? How many users that your application can handle. So you should aware of in the terms of optimization, performance and optimization, right? when you are actually developing the application, you should know about how to do the maintenance part and the support part. So debugging, code refactoring, documentation, these are the main important part of your maintenance and support. And on the at the end, you also have soft skills. Means your communication skill, your problem solving skills are also very important, right? So clear communication within the team members, stakeholders, and clients are also very important and very important factors during the application development. Problem solving, a strong problem solving skills, also addressing and challenging the during development, right? So you should be you should know how to solve your problems, no? So these frameworks will help you out. So these are the basic skills which actually contribute to successful Java application development across its various stages. Okay, so the combinations of technical and soft skills will help you to build a robust and scalable and maintainable application. The last one is like these days everyone is talking about Gen AI, right? Generative AI, ChatGPT. Anyone can tell me what is Gen AI? It is already written in front of my on the slide straight away. Artificial intelligence can learn from the existing artifacts to generate the new realistic artifacts. Right?
It means, Arun, basically, does that mean, so basically whatever inputs we give to AI, of course he'll evolve accordingly and he'll produce better results.
Better results, yes.
He'll learn, I think that AI will learn on himself.
Okay.
Is that so? The advanced version of Gen AI?
Advanced version of Gen AI, basically, okay, you are correct so far. Okay. Anyone want to explain what is Gen AI? So through Gen AI, it's a word which is there, it's generative AI. AI stands for artificial intelligence, and generative means you can generate the content like image, video, music, speech, text, the software code also, right? So you just need to ask. So there's a concept of LLM models, large language models. So the companies like the Facebook, Microsoft, and AWS, and there are so many companies which are actually and come up with OpenAI, come up with their LLM models, which are pre-trained and trained models. So you can easily talk to them in a normal language, and they will generate the code or the content as per your desired need, right? So it is very helpful tools. So you can also train your model. So it actually open a wide scope of in application development. So there are a number of use cases now open for developers to develop an application around those use cases. So earlier we do have some limitations. Now it actually opens the gate for you as a developer to develop these more smarter applications for an enterprise or for individuals, right? So how Java will help in like in development. So again, Spring is one of the very popular framework, and Spring AI recently, in just like few months back, they have come up with Gen AI, Spring AI frameworks, and the Spring AI project aims to streamline the development of application that incorporate artificial intelligence functionality without unnecessary complexity. So basically, Spring is all about it will give you the wrapper, and it will help. It will make your work more. It will reduce the complexity, and it will give you the um, more space to think over the use cases, and you can easily achieve your desired output using the pre-built functionalities and pre-built you can easily interact with the LLM models. You can easily create the embeddings and vectors, and you can do the search around it using the Spring AI, right? And LangChain is also one of the very popular framework, which is available in Python or JavaScript, and also it is available for Java, if nobody knows. So it will supercharge your Java application with the power of LLMs, large language models, right? So you can easily interact with AI and LLM capabilities in your Java applications. So you can develop more interactive and more useful applications.